Not, yeah, not the greatest for an investor. As an investor, I like to look at stuff that's been on the market for at least 60, preferably really 90 days, because that's showing that seller that the market's not going to bring them the price that they want. So they may be more susceptible to the offer I'm going to bring them. What are your thoughts? Is it a good cash deal? Is it a good creative deal? Are my numbers close? Are they not even close? Is this something you even care about? Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the weekly deal analysis here in the Corner Barn. I am Chris Thompson, that bearded guy, the creative guy. Each and every week, I jump on and analyze a random house I find on the internet for a cash deal and a creative deal. Let's get into it. Before we get started on this week's episode, I just want to thank anybody and everybody who has watched. This is episode 20. It's honestly a lot of fun for me. So if you're watching it and you're getting enjoyment out of it, awesome. I hope it's extremely helpful and truly a heartfelt thank you for watching and tuning in. This week we are sticking in Florida, 6332 Badner Drive in Jacksonville, Florida. 32210. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home that is 1,780 square feet. Let's see what details we have and see if this thing's going to be a good cash deal. Decent landscape, typical Florida yard. Probably need some power wash and paint up here. Tile floors. Looks like porcelain. We got some LVP. I apologize, my allergies are killing me today. Bathroom's pretty. That one is not. Hmm. So this looks like it was an addition or something was an addition because this is just a regular sliding glass door. Mm, Kitchen's pretty. Definitely updated that. Just shaker style with the kind of board and batten look, if you will, I guess. Pretty good sized yard. I'd be willing to bet this is what they converted. Um, Probably used to be a garage. All right, decent overall. Built in 56, no HOA that we are aware of, which typically stuff that old doesn't have them. How many days on market? 25 days on market. Not, yeah, not the greatest for an investor. As an investor, I like to look at stuff that's been on the market for at least 60, preferably really 90 days, because that's showing that seller that the market's not going to bring them the price that they want. So they may be more susceptible to the offer I'm going to bring them. Let's see what the agent has to say about it. Move-in ready home, perfect for first-time buyer or investor. Well, hey, that's me. Excuse me. Updated kitchen, bathroom. AC is only 6 years. Water heater is 6 years. Roof is only 9 years. All perfect things that I look for in a property. A large fenced backyard. Bum. All right, what else we got here? So we're close to the river, which obviously the river then leads into the Atlantic. So if you like boats, no creek or anything right there. All right, so the Zillow estimator is saying 228, which even if that is true, they probably should have gotten an offer already because they're at 332 from 339, 3. They actually end up raising the price here. Somebody bought this thing correct. I bet this is sitting out there at the I don't have to sell this, but I kind of want to price in 96. That's 1996. Or as my kids like to say, the 1900s. Feel so old. Um, but they paid under 60 grand for this thing. Who wishes they had that crystal ball way back then? Property taxes, holy buckets. Look at that jump. That is a huge assessment on property tax. That's incredible. Oh, and incredibly sad, but still incredible. Wow. All right, what do we got going on around us? Looks like there's a couple rentals, 14 and 18. Um, we're doing red. Is that sold? No, red is active. All right, so our competition is over here. Let's see what else we got. Some solds. All right, here's a sold for 220. When did it sell? Or what I'm interested in. 23 for 220 roughly 2 years ago. Thought I lost us there. Mm, what is Zillow saying it's worth? 228. I think we're going to drop that down some more. And Zillow's saying, I'm going to take a couple notes here. Trying to figure out what I think our ARV is going to be. And realistically, we're going to go with, well, the one we just looked at for 220 that was 2 years ago. I didn't bother looking at the pictures, but ultimately we're still right around that price. So let's just say our overall ARV is like 210. How's that sound? ARV 210. And if you've been watching me, you know what ARV stands for. If you haven't, and this is your first time here, ARV stands for after repair value. What something's worth after it's all nice and cleaned up. This property is pretty much there with a couple of updates still needed. Either way, ARV is going to be 210, and Zillow is saying our rent price is going to be 1736. So that gives me my basic numbers of what I need to do to take this thing to the next step. Let's dive into that. This is the Invest Nest. It's a software that I like using. You can use PropStream, Privy, any of those things. Those are phenomenal. I'm not hating on them. I just prefer this one. One, it's extremely cost effective. I think they're only charging like 15 bucks a month. And if you use my code, which will be down in the link, you get your first month for 50% off and a week for free. But just a couple of quick highlights. So this is my dashboard, property search. You literally just plug in the address and it pulls everything up. My deal pipeline, it's almost like a mini CRM. So if you're like me and you hate using CRMs, you're kind of forced to use this one, but it's so user friendly that it just helps and just honestly kind of makes things work. Um, but it's a great way to keep track of everything that you have. Um, home messages, so you can private message other people on here, groups. As you can see, I have my group on here. Sub 2 and friends, who not how. We meet in person every second Saturday here in Mount Airy, Maryland. And my partner and I, Jay Mora, I'm sure you know him. He's a superstar and all over social media. But he and I host this meetup, and then we also host one the third Wednesday of every month. I'm horrible about updating this stuff. I try to push that on Jay, but either way, in-person meetup, it's every second Saturday. Virtual meetup every third Wednesday. If you want more details on that, check us out on Facebook, Western Maryland Dominators. Most of the time, we don't even buy in Maryland. It's just where we currently live. Back to the Invest Nest. This software is awesome. Give it a try. My link will be in the description below. just cut and paste it and sign up for your 1 week for free and 50% off your first month. What do you have to lose? So I'm going to plug in our address here. That's Maryland. Why is that pulling up Maryland? Oh, because I pushed the wrong button. That's why. All right, so here's our deal here. And another really cool thing about this service, you can skip trace right in here. They don't charge extra for it. Assessed value is 160. So yeah, I'd say there again, I'm sticking with our ARV of 210. I can go into a whole lot in deeper discussion on that if you want. Drop some comments down below, and I'm happy to either shoot a new video on that or jump on a phone call with you. But I digress. This sucker's been up and running. This thing's only saying 16 days when Zillow's saying 25 days. I'm not that worried about it. Details. Nothing crazy there. All right, let's calculate this thing. So we're going to call this 6332 Manor. All right, our purchase price. And again, if you follow me, you know that I'm offering 75% of ARV minus repairs. So I think all we saw was that bathroom needed to be repaired. The second one, the really ugly yellow one. So we're going to take our 210, multiply that by 70%. Times 0.7, which gives us 147 minus that bathroom renovation. Don't know what renovation costs are down there. I just know that overall renovation costs are kind of high right now, just because materials, inflation, blah, 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 blah. I used to say a bathroom reno would cost about $5,000. Now I'm leaning towards about 8, but for round numbers, I think we're going to call this one 140. So our offer price is going to be $140,000 for cash. Our closing cost, we're going to be paying both sides. I'll put in 4% for that. Our lender charges, everybody is charging 2 points. It's pretty customary most of the time because they're not using their own money. They're just brokering a deal, and that's how they get paid. Our loan improvement costs. You know what? Let's try to wrap them into this loan. One cool feature that this software has. And our down payment, I only want to put 20% down. And interest rates, they kind of stink right now, but they're about 7.5, 30-year term. Next. All right, so our rental calculator is saying 1676, and from what we wrote down earlier, Zillow said 1736, so we're not even $100 off there. Just to confirm that, I always like to check with HUD. So I have the HUD site pulled up here. Link again will be down below, but this is the HUD Fair Market Rent Analyzer, Assessor, whatever you want to call it. You plug in a couple bits of information and it spits out what section it is willing to pay their max on. So for this zip code, that's an efficiency 1, 2, 3 bedroom is 1830. So I think we're going to use the middle number that Zillow was saying at the 1736. 1736. Now again, these are just rough numbers. I would always recommend confirming with a local expert, whether that's a realtor, property manager, or somebody that just knows the market really well. All right, our insurance, probably 125, so that'll be $1,500 a year. Property taxes, these things are crazy high. Management fee, 10%, pretty typical across the board. All of our utilities are going to be handled by the tenant, so I don't have to factor those in. War chest, repair and maintenance, vacancy loss, and capital expenditures. Basically just making sure the property is kept up and we kind of account for everything that may or probably will happen. So I keep 15% aside for that of each month's rent. Appreciation, planning on holding it for 10 years. We're real estate investors. We don't pay full commission. All right, you ready to see the numbers? Not a great deal, not a horrible deal. This would be more of, well, you're very limited cash out of pocket. So, not really, because you're 20% down plus closing costs. So, yeah, I mean, you're almost 40 grand into it to make 100 grand a month. Not a great cash deal. Part of probably why it has not sold. Cap rate's pretty good. I know most people look for like a minimum of an 8. Cash on cash return, it's not great. Return on investment or your ROI is 13.5, which is a pretty good ROI overall. Total payments. So, and keep in mind, out of that 100, you're still putting away $260 a month in your war chest. But for me, my net cash flow needs to be a little bit higher. Unless I'm completely zero out of pocket, I look for at least $400 to $500 a month. All right, so now we know what it takes to analyze this for a cash deal, and it's okay, but nothing spectacular. Let's do the fun part now and analyze the creative deal. So this is my creative calculator. You can go to my website, christhompsonteam.com, and download this for free. Use it, love it. I have a bunch of other free tools on there, and you can book a call with me. And if you want to work a deal with me, or if you want to sell me a deal, go to that website as well, christhompsonteam.com. Let's analyze this thing for a creative deal. So we said our ARV was going to be 210. Purchase price. With creative, we can generally offer more. So our original offer price was only 140. Our ARV is 210. They're asking, I think, 232. So, you know what? Let's give them that 210. Let's see how those numbers break down. So we're only going to offer a 2% interest rate. Now let's factor in our PITI, or principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. How do we do that? We go to bank rate. So this is bank rate. Again, link will be in the description below. So our home price, we said, is going to be 210,000. I only want to give up 5% down. I'm paying all the other fees. Interest rate. Let's see if they'll bite on a 2% interest rate. Our zip code, 32210. Adjust our property taxes and insurance. So our insurance should be 125. Our property tax, back to the nest and see what that says. 255, 256. Wrong button. 256. We'll round up by that 49 cents. Update. All right, so this says our total payment, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, all broken out right here, is going to be $1,118. So let's go plug our PITI in over here, 1118. And we said our potential rents are going to be what Zillow said, so 1736, because that basically splits the middle. All right, drum roll. $182 a month. Okay. So I think we're about $184. So we're roughly $80, $90 more than the cash deal. Now let's see what it's going to cost us out of pocket. So we jump over here. We said we're putting 5% down. 5% is 10,500, $10,500. Typically, because I look for older stuff on the market, I'm really only giving the agent like $1,000. This thing's only been on the market for less than a month. So I think we need to give the agent about 1,500 bucks. And hopefully that will get us past their gatekeeper status. Assignment fee, we're going direct to agent on this one. Closing costs, we have it 4%, 8,400. Reno cost, we said we're going to be 7,000. 7,000. 2 months of carrying, that's this times 2. So basically our mortgage payment times 2. No arrears and a good TC is going to be about 1,000 bucks. So all in upfront cash, just over $30,000 versus our invest nest, which that was going to be 37 by the time you're out the door, about 37 and a half. So your cash flow goes up, your cash out of pocket goes down. All in all, your ROI is still not the greatest. You're still pushing like a 14-year till you get all of your money back. Not the greatest, not the worst. And yes, you can up rents. And I do think the overall economy and the rental market is going to pick up. So this is just based on these figures that we reviewed right now today. So there you have it. There is our analysis of 6332 Badur Drive in Jacksonville, Florida. 32210 is the zip code. What are your thoughts? Is it a good cash deal? Is it a good creative deal? Are my numbers close? Are they not even close? Is this something you even care about? Either way, I would appreciate it if you drop me a comment. That does it for us on this week's episode of the Weekly Deal Analysis here in the Corner Barn. I am Chris Thompson, that bearded guy, the creative guy. We'll see you next week.